Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the service center in California. We're heading into month 11, and Karina sends her respects and says hello to everybody. She is in Bogota, Colombia. She's been living there since 2018 as a legal resident of Colombia, and originally she's from Caracas, Venezuela. Beautiful, beautiful Venezuela. We love the people of Venezuela. And I live in the panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, just a little tad north of Navarre Beach. And this video is about vaccinations. Ooh, vaccinations. Questions and answers regarding vaccinations. Come on along. It's exciting. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV, but I understand the immigration process like the back of my hand, okay? And these questions and answers are questions and answers you will find on uscis.gov, okay, about the general vaccination requirements for you, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, you will need in order to enter the United States as a future American, okay? And if you also, now this also pertains to folks who are going to adjust their status too. So if you're already in the United States, you've already married to your sponsor, congratulations, by the way, good job. You need to know what these vaccination requirements are for your adjustment of status paperwork. Very important information. Now, under U.S. immigration laws, everything is a law, ladies and gentlemen. Everything, USCIS just don't make stuff up as they go along. It is a law, congressional law. And under the immigration laws of the United States of America, a non-citizen, which is you, the beneficiary, or you in the United States who is already a green card holder, or whatever, okay, if you apply for an immigration visa abroad, now Karina, she's in Colombia, so she's waiting for her visa to get approved while she's in Colombia, okay? We will check her vaccination records, and she will be required to have the following vaccinations. This is in our case: mumps, measles, rubella, polio, tetanus and diphtheria, toxoids, pertussis, Haemophilus influenza type B. Now, I'm pretty sure she's already received and hepatitis B and COVID19. Now, Karina has received most of these, if not all of these vaccinations in the past, when she was a baby, when she was entering Colombia, etc., especially with COVID. But those are the main vaccinations that USCIS want you to have, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary. So here's a question. Why do immigrants, why do you, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, including those folks who are adjusting their status to become green card holders, have to show proof they have received certain vaccinations? Why do you have to show proof? Well, the answer to this, okay, is right here under this Immigration and Nationality Act, this INA Act, congressional law. A non-citizen who seeks admission as an immigrant who seeks adjustment of status for permanent residency, if you don't show proof that you've been vaccinated against those various diseases I mentioned, you'll become inadmissible to the United States of America, okay? And you can't adjust your status. So what does inadmissible mean? It means you can't come in, I'm sorry to say. So, very important, you get your vaccination records and check them out and find out if you've been vaccinated or not. Another question. Do you, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, do you have to receive all the vaccines that are on that CDC, Center for Disease Control list, that are age appropriate? What if you have a medical condition that prevents you from receiving the required vaccines? Well, the answer to that question is, if you have a medical condition that prevents you from receiving the vaccine that is appropriate for your age, the civil surgeon, or the doctor in your country of origin where you're getting your medical exam, will annotate on the form I-693, okay, accordingly, as contradicted. Contradicted. That's a long immigration word right there. Look at that word right here. contraindicated, and that means that a particular condition prevents you from receiving a particular vaccine. So the doctor will mark it down, the civil surgeon will say, no, you can't have this vaccine because, and he'll put it on that form I-693. Another question for folks in your mind, you're thinking, well, certain vaccines, ladies and gentlemen, can only be completed with multiple visits. You got to go back, go for your first vaccination, then you got to go back for a second vaccination. Are you required to complete the entire series in one shot? Can you get all your vaccinations in one shot? Now the answer to that is you are only required to receive a single dose of each vaccine, okay, when you visit the civil surgeon. And you're encouraged to go back and follow up with your doctor to get the rest of the series, okay? Now once you have received that single dose for the vaccination, the doctor, the civil surgeon, will sign that form and certify form I-693. But there is an exception. There's an exception for everything, right? It's life. The COVID-19 vaccination is an exception to this requirement, all right? You must complete the COVID-19 vaccine primary series, one or two doses, depending on which vaccine you get. In adults, it's 2 or 3 doses, primarily 2. And this also depends on how old you are and which vaccine for children, okay? And then you provide documentation of vaccination to the civil surgeon in person for completion of your medical exam. So it's up to you, Mr. Beneficiary and Miss Beneficiary, to get your COVID shots, and your children also, depending on how old they are, and show the civil surgeon, looky here, I got my COVID series done, and he will sign off on your medical exam for your K1 visa. Question? Miss Beneficiary, this applies to the young ladies out there waiting for your K1 visa. If you are pregnant, okay, and you don't want to get any vaccinations, do you still have to get them? That's the question. You're pregnant, do I need to get them to obtain my K1 visa or to adjust my status in the United States? Well, the answer to that by USCIS, the immigration folks, is if you are pregnant, the Center for Disease Control technical instructions will direct your doctor in whichever country it is you are in on how to evaluate the vaccines, okay, you are able to receive during pregnancy. So your civil surgeon will determine that, okay? If the civil surgeon, if the doctor in your country, approved by the U.S. Embassy, cannot administer the vaccination properly or safely, they will annotate the form I-693, making the vaccine as this long immigration word again, as contraindicated. Okay? Another question. Can you, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, get all your vaccinations at one time instead of going through the series? Can you get them all, excluding COVID, can you get them all at one time? The answer to that question is the civil surgeon, the doctor, will let you know if you can receive all the vaccines at once, or if there's a concern based on your particular medical condition. So whatever your medical condition is, how good a shape you're in, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, will determine if you can get all the shots at once or not. Okay? Now, regarding the flu vaccine, the flu shot, if it's flu season, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you are getting your K1 visa adjudicated and you're getting ready for your face-to-face interview, if your K1 visa is being adjudicated and your visa interview is between either from October, November, December, January, February, March, in that period of time, okay, there's a good possibility that your doctor in your country, approved by the embassy, U.S. Embassy, will ask you to get your flu shot. So be ready for that. Now, the question is, who pays for all these vaccinations? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Miss Beneficiary, Sponsor, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, you are responsible for paying the doctor for your vaccinations and for your medical exam, okay? So you pay the doctor who is administering the shots or whatever, wherever you're getting these vaccinations done, you are responsible for paying, okay? Ask how much it's going to be. How much is it going to cost? Don't get surprised, okay? Don't go in there, get your vaccinations and medical exam done, and then get your bill. Make sure you know how much it's going to be before you pay or before you get it done. So you can prepare for that in your budget, for your immigration budget. I'm sure you've got an immigration budget, right? All right. It's important that you understand, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that USCIS, they don't regulate the fees charged by the doctors in your home country for your medical exam or for your vaccinations, okay? So, buyer beware. But remember, you have to get this done by a doctor approved by the U.S. Embassy in your country. The question I have here is, can I be forced to be vaccinated? Can Mr. Beneficiary, can you be forced to have your vaccinations? Well, no, you can't be forced into this. You can't be made to get a vaccination. But if you refuse to get vaccinated, okay, your permanent legal status in the United States, your K-1 visa, more than likely you're going to be denied permission for your K-1 visa and for your adjustment of status. Okay, so it's life, ladies and gentlemen. It's important, ladies and gentlemen, that you must understand that the medical form I-693, if it's not complete, if the vaccination chart is not complete, if the doctor hasn't checked all the blocks, all the little boxes, okay, then if it's not properly completed, immigration is going to send the chart back if you're in the United States and say this isn't complete, you must complete your vaccinations, or you will be denied your K-1 visa, okay? So what if you can't find the vaccination in your country? Then you must find it somewhere. There is somebody somewhere who has that vaccination who can document it, a doctor who can document it for you, okay? If you refuse the vaccination, you could refuse the vaccination for religious beliefs, okay? The civil or moral reasons. The doctor will mark that on form I-693. If you refuse the vaccinations, ladies and gentlemen, you will have to apply for a visa, a waiver of inadmissibility. If you don't get your vaccinations because of your moral or religious beliefs, you're going to have to get a waiver for a waiver of inadmissibility. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was a quick question and answer overview on vaccinations. Okay, we hope it was helpful to you. We want you to get your K-1 visa. We want to see you in the United States. We look forward to welcoming you at all the airports around the world, from around the world to the United States of America, wherever it is you're going to land. We're going to fly from Bogota to Miami with our cat, and then from Miami we're going to fly to Pensacola, and then my friend's going to pick us up at the airport and drive us home, and then we're going to wait a day and then dash to Navarre Beach and get married. And we're going to have all our vaccinations all up to date before we do that. And we will see you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in the United States very soon. Hang in there. You can do this.
I'll be back.